Good afternoon will suffice. My name is Charles Sodongso, and I'm going to be moderating this discussion, a dialogue on sustainable SMEs across Africa. It's a continental discussion, but coming your way right from here in Kampala, in Uganda, in a small room at Sheraton Kampala Hotel. Welcome to this discussion, and I have to say that we will invoke God's blessing by starting this discussion with a prayer. And I would want to invite Godfrey Ivudria to pray for us to start this discussion. Godfrey?
Almighty God, the creator of heaven and earth, we thank you for this afternoon. We thank you for yet another opportunity to meet together for a dialogue as we discuss the future of SMEs in Africa. We want to thank you for Human Capital International, the institution that has been behind this dialogue, planning, putting together, and organizing a beautiful dialogue. We thank you for Sheraton Kampala, where we are all hosted this afternoon. We thank you for the sponsors and the partners that are behind this event. We thank you for the technical team that have made it possible for us to go virtually and internationally. And we just commit this dialogue in your hands, oh God. We pray your blessing, your leading, your guidance over it, that it shall bless Uganda, it shall bless Africa, and it shall bless the ends of the earth. Be magnified. We pray all this in the name of our Lord. Amen.
Amen. And Godfrey, thanks a lot for the wonderful prayer. Like you said, Human Capital International has organized this together with other partners, EcoBank being one of them, and we will be hearing from some of them in their presentations as well. Start with us is Ms. Shenina Ahebwa. She's the country manager for Human Capital International. Ahebwa, we want to hear from you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Human Capital International is honored to host you for this two-day event. We are excited that you have spared your precious time to attend this event amidst the ravaging COVID-19. I'm aware that many of you have lost jobs, friends, relatives, businesses because of the COVID-19. We encourage you not to despair amid all these challenging times. As many of you may recall, on the 25th of February 2021, HCI, in partnership with the African Continental Free Trade Area, held the third Strategic Leaders Summit here at Sheraton Kampala Hotel under the theme Agribusiness, SMEs, Digital Innovation within the African Continental Free Trade Area. The main objective of the summit is to champion very stimulating public-private-led discussions that lead to best practices and innovation-oriented dialogue to spur growth within the SME sector in the new digital economy. It's from that summit that participants, partners, and well-wishers asked us to organize this event today. During and after the summit, participants agreed on the need to regroup to deepen understanding and appreciation of 5 key areas and explore deeper the creation of unappropriate SMEs, innovations, and technology-based climates that will spur growth and the digitalization of agribusinesses and SMEs in the region, in the general region. These 5 main areas are women-focused SMEs, market linkages and technology options, SMEs, finance and investment options, unpackaging the taxes, and tariffs in the Intercontinental Free Trade Area, women-led SMEs, value-based systems, management, and implications for intercontinental trade, the African youth, new entrepreneurship paradigms, and cultural development. Hence our theme this afternoon, women and youth-focused SMEs, finance and technology options. It's on that basis that we agreed to convene today and deliver on the agreed topic above. A very big thank you to all our sponsors and partners for making this happen. We believe that this dialogue will stimulate the development and growth of women and young people to establish and lead sustainable SMEs that will create dignified and fulfilling jobs for women and the young people in the region and improve intercontinental trade, leveraging on the financial and the digital technology present. Ladies and gentlemen, before I end, I want to thank all our sponsors and partners for making this happen, particularly EcoBank, our sponsors since we started the dialogue, the summit, and today they'll be unveiling their new innovative women-focused SME finance product, Elevate. Agribusiness Initiative, ABI, Sheraton Kampala Hotel, Rock Telecom, Enterprise Uganda, Shared Value Initiative, Jim Roberts and Associates, Events Warehouse, East African Business Week Digital, and the Vision Group for partnering with us. Without your support, this dialogue wouldn't have been a success. We say a very big thank you and for your continuous support. I wish you all a very fruitful deliberation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Shanina. Allow me now invite Annette Kihuguru, the able MD of EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Thank you for inviting me and all guests and partners in this noble cause. You are most welcome. My name is Annette Kihuguru. I am the Managing Director of EcoBank. Today's theme, Women and Youth Focused SMEs, Finance and Technology Options, is a very key theme for EcoBank. So distinguished speakers, panelists, participants, both here and those attending virtually, good afternoon again. I bring you warm greetings from the Pan-African Bank here and from all our colleagues in the affiliates across the 33 countries. Permit me to add my voice to welcoming you all to the virtual Sustainable SME Focused Dialogue today at the Sheraton. EcoBank Uganda has been an integral part of Uganda's formal financial services sector since 2008, with branches in Kampala, Entebbe, Jinja, and Mbarara. As a Pan-African bank, EcoBank currently operates in over 33 countries in Africa and has a banking license in France and representative offices in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, Johannesburg, South Africa, Beijing, China, UK, and Dubai. We offer a full suite of banking products, services, and solutions, including bank and deposit accounts, loans, cash management products, advisory services, trade, securities, wealth, and asset management. So with all that together, there is no doubt that of SMEs, women entrepreneurs are known to be critical to the economic growth in Africa as a continent and still account for a higher share of informal employment, and yet when it comes to access to trade, financing, and credit, they are always at a disadvantage. That is why, as a bank, as EcoBank Uganda, EcoBank Group, we are very proud to be part of the work of Human Capital International, focusing on addressing the inherent challenges of SMEs, particularly women entrepreneurs. As a Pan-African bank committed to work with SMEs, most importantly, women and young people, over the years, we have been investing a very substantial quantum of resources in researching into the perennial problems faced by SMEs, especially women-focused and women-led businesses, and the appropriate solutions we can develop to help them elevate their pain. Today, we are proud to be unveiling one of our innovative and cherished solutions for SMEs in general, but most especially women. And in a short while, we are going to introduce you to that product special for women called Elevate, a program that is set to empower women-led and women-focused businesses. EcoBank has chosen to challenge the financial status quo and methods of working with SMEs, especially the women entrepreneurs. And we have decided that we will elevate the power of women entrepreneurs with differentiated businesses and financial solutions. To put this in perspective, allow me to give you an overview of the female economy and its importance to the development of the continent. As I stated earlier, women in Africa represent a massive and largely untapped economic resource, and yet they face many gender inequalities. These gender-based inequalities range from gaps in education, health, financial inclusion, and political participation. They also include unnecessary barriers limiting their ability to fully participate in the economy, principal among which is access to external finance, self-perceived lack of creditworthiness.
Don't do that, it's a bee.
Credibility as business
What a
owners
fly.
and managers,
You'll die.
cultural and gender discrimination, and unequal responsibility for family and domestic roles. Admittedly, some progress has so far been made, including the fact that the income gap between women and men is narrowing, and women's education achievements are also increasing in many countries. And of any region, Africa has the highest female representation at board levels, standing at 25% against a global average of 17%. Unfortunately, COVID-19 has reversed much of the recent progress so far made on gender equality by worsening existing inequalities. Today, SMEs are the main drivers of job creation in Africa and account for over 90% of farms, excluding agriculture. If we add agriculture in here, the percentage could go up to 100. Women own 1/3 of registered African SMEs, but are more likely to have a lesser number of employees, and almost 26% of adult women in Africa, which is 140 million women, will start or manage a business. And that is one of the highest proportions globally. Having said the above, women's business in Africa face a huge financing gap, estimated at $42 billion, as well as facing barriers to wider markets access. So, for us in EcoBank, focusing on this sector, we earlier told you we are a Pan-African bank in 33 countries. Focusing on this sector is not only a matter of economics, but the right thing to do. the largely untapped potential of women-owned and women-led business could play a significant role in driving Africa's economic development and providing employment. The $42 billion financing gap for women-led business in Africa represents a massive and attractive opportunity, and research indicates that women-led businesses are more likely to be financially disciplined and less likely to default on their loan repayments. Us who work in a bank, we can testify this to you. Therefore, women-led SMEs can only reach their full potential if they are genuinely treated as full economic citizens. So the question is then, why are we introducing Elevate by EcoBank? This is because the fundamental purpose of the EcoBank Group is to contribute to the economic and social development of the African continent. That's what drives us as EcoBank. And also empowering women entrepreneurs and women-focused business. This will help us actualize that purpose. Elevate by EcoBank will address the pressing and critical needs of women-led and focused businesses. It has a suite of solutions aimed at helping women businesses succeed, including collateral-light discounted financing, where we shall allocate a minimum of 10% of the commercial banking loan portfolio to women's business. That is across the 33 countries. We are also looking at enabling these women businesses succeed by offering smarter cash management. Also want to do value-add services such as training, mentoring, and networking opportunities. The training is going to be a program that I would like every woman entrepreneur to try and apply for. So ladies and gentlemen, our objective is to unleash the power of women in Uganda to run successful businesses, which is a vital role for Uganda's future socio-economic prosperity. Here, I would like to ask whoever is listening today, those present in this room, please help us spread the word about Elevate by EcoBank. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Kehogoro, the MD of EcoBank. She has appealed to all of us to spread the word about Elevate, and we are going to do that, I promise you. I want to whet your appetite a bit by inviting a representative of the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries. May I invite Commissioner for Agriculture Investments, Muhezi, you're most welcome.
I'm glad to join everybody here, and on behalf of the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, representing the Permanent Secretary, Mr. Pius Wakabi, who has not managed to make it because of other pressing issues, I'm glad to join you here, all protocols observed. I'm reminded that I have to use only 6 minutes. He had given me his statement, but I'll do my best to make sure that I summarize it in a very short time. First of all, as a ministry and as government, as we work with the private sector, we are very delighted that Capital International managed to successfully host the 3rd edition of their strategic conference last time. And basically, when you look at the outcome of that strategic meeting summit which was held, which I would like to highlight briefly and which are in line with our sector development strategy. There is a focus on women and youth in agribusiness and available technology options. It addresses the issues of agribusiness, finance, and market linkages, taxes, tariffs, international agribusiness trade, leadership, value-based systems management, agribusiness, and most importantly, African youth new entrepreneurship paradigms. If you look at our sector development strategy and as enshrined in the National Development Plan, these are some of the core issues that we are addressing in terms of taking forward the agricultural agenda and agro-industrialization in this country. So this kind of dialogue is really very good, and it complements sector and government efforts. The PS had made an attempt in this presentation, which I'm trying to summarize, into appraising colleagues here about the vision and mission of the ministry. I will not go in detail, but the major focus of government and the ministry in particular is transform the subsistence agriculture into commercial agriculture, and most importantly, to bring the key actors into the money economy. These are the youth, the women, to give them special emphasis. And reading from what Human Capital International and stakeholders have been putting on the table, this is precisely what we are trying to address as government, but basically with a few objectives. And these objectives include making sure that we increase production and productivity in agriculture, ensuring household food and nutrition security for this country, the region, and beyond. And even this COVID period and what is happening, you can attest to the fact that our economy has remained resilient, and so is the population, largely because we can eat, the food is available, and even export the surplus to our neighbors. So these are what we are trying to emphasize. And in terms of creating on-farm and off-farm employment, promoting value addition, domestic and international trade. And these are becoming now prominent, especially now, say, with COVID, you can see that you have to do what we call in economics import substitution, as you promote export promotion. And in agriculture and the dialogue around this table, these are some of the areas that we should be emphasizing. And I'm glad that for us as a ministry, we are part of this dialogue. And I wanted quickly to take you through some of the few innovative things that we are trying to do as the ministry in the National Development Plan 3, as we pursue the agro-industrialization agenda. What we are trying to do, we are trying to cluster and register all the farmers, and especially now, say the youth, the women, because you cannot help and assist those that you don't know. So we are trying to register the farmers, we ascertain who the youth are, and even in terms of the youth, we have even in partnership with FAO, developed the government youth development strategy. And exactly what I read in what Human Capital International is doing, these are the linkages. We get these youth, cluster them, link them to finance, link them to entrepreneurial skills, all these. And we are trying to roll out the nucleus farmer model. If I had time, I would explain that, but I know the majority of colleagues around the table, Sochich and the rest, I know that you are very comfortable with this. And we are trying to make sure that extension services work, and more particularly want to see in extension, more and more women extension workers, because even some research studies have indicated that women have performed the very best in disseminating, reaching, and teaching farmers in terms of agricultural development. And in any case, the women folk are the majority of those that are involved in actual agriculture. And given also that our population, the youth, is dominant, we want to make sure that we integrate these youth and women into gainful agricultural value chains. And all this we are doing together with value addition and post-harvest management. And we hope that as government, when we do this, we should be able to prepare agriculture to the next chapter. And I know you're about to stop me, but you will agree that our efforts in this sector are working. Actually, now with agriculture in Uganda, now currently our major problem is the market. But as far as production is concerned, now milk, we are competing with South Africa. You can imagine coffee, bananas, everything now, production and productivity, we're doing very well. Now we are trying to concentrate on value addition and expanding our presence in the marketplace, of course, with quality assurance on the products we produce. And we think that when we do that, we should be able to promote agriculture and take it to the next level. So generally, when we peruse it, what is contained largely in what Human Capital International is doing and what the dialogue around this table is all about, we see that this presents a very huge and unique opportunity for Human Capital International to partner with government, and in particular, Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries. And we hope that we can partner in many ways, but I can just highlight a few examples. One, working with the ministry, Human Capital International can partner with our training institutions because we see they have good ideas and practical solutions to some of our challenges, especially entrepreneurship and mindset change, those issues. And and as a government and ministry, we have got training institutions in crops, in fisheries, and in livestock training institute, fisheries training institute, National Leadership Training Center there in Kampiringisa, in Mpigi. So we have these training institutions. We hope that after this dialogue, as one of the taking the outcome of this forward, we hope that we can partner with you to train SMEs, especially those involved in agriculture, and the youth into gainful agricultural enterprise. So we can partner with the training institutions of government of the ministry. We also think, ladies and gentlemen, that Human Capital International and other colleagues around the table, we think that we can partner with you in organizing strategic leadership summits, even the next ones, this not being the last, to organize others and roundtable dialogues around some of these major challenges so that we can get quick turn solutions to take our country and agriculture forward. Lastly, we think that we can do a memorandum of understanding so that our actions are formalized, and we can even do a non-disclosure agreement. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, I wish to thank, observe, and recognize the various actors, first of all on this table, those that are online with us, and thank you for the effort you continue to put in to support development efforts in the Ugandan agricultural sector. When I look around, I was not here when the introductions were being made, but the few faces I see around the table and the EcoBank, you know, one of the key challenges is agricultural financing, and we know that you are doing quite something in that area, and so are other commercial banks in the private sector, Enterprise Uganda. So, and you know, under NDP3, under program planning approach, this is actually our major focus. So Human Capital International, what you are doing is that you are putting a building block on what core values of government currently are. So the outcome of this event and subsequent discussions, we are convinced will spur well-coordinated agriculture sector interventions and investments by both public and private sector, targeting to increase production, processing, market access, maximizing linkages, and mobilizing key value chain actors, including the youth and women in gainful agriculture employment. Once again, I want to thank you all for inviting us. And I want to request that in further engagements, you be with us as a ministry so that we strategize together on how we can alleviate poverty on the African continent and spur economic development. My name is Muhwezi Deus. I'm the Commissioner for Agriculture Investments in the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry, and Fisheries. Thank you very much for God and my country.
Thanks a lot, Muhwezi, for that very resounding presentation, but most importantly, the promises that have been made. I'm sure the team, Ahebwa and Dr. Tumi, have taken up the promise by the ministry, especially on linkages, because it's very important for spurring some of these innovations going ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, our next presenter is going to be someone we know very well, especially in Uganda. He has spoken so much from the heart, especially very passionately, about youth, women, enterprises. He has spoken so much about enterprise development. Charles Ochichi is the Executive Director of Enterprise Uganda.
Thank you so much, moderator. And I'm so delighted to be in this session where, again, Human Capital International is bringing us together to discuss a very important segment of the private sector, the SMEs. And this time they are focusing on women and the youth. And I want to first make very general comments before I can go to my substantive presentation. The first one is that Africa is a young continent, largely full of young people. If we do not tap on them, they will play a negative force. That's one. Two, entrepreneurship is an open space for everybody, irrespective of your age, provided you have got something to sell. Nobody goes to the market and is asking for the age of the seller of eggs, tea, meat, shirts, dresses, transport. They are simply saying, transport me from here to the other place. Again, telling you that entrepreneurship is available for all ages. Three, if Africa does not take advantage of the current opportunities we have in the continent, the rest of the globe is going to come to Africa and exploit these opportunities. And the people who are going to be coming to the continent are not necessarily going to be old, mature people coming to take advantage of what's happening in the continent. It will be youth from Europe, youth from Asia, heading to a continent of opportunity and tapping into it. I'm driving a message home here. It is time for the youth of Africa to take advantage of what's happening in the continent. We are the next frontier and destination of investment. If we don't take advantage of what's here, the way God has said, He says, if you have nothing to contribute, even the little benefits you have will be taken away. So the continent of Africa is in our hands, and we need to take advantage and guard it. But as I conclude on my closing opening comment, the last one is saying that the word youth implies that you cannot be a youth forever. You're a youth, but for a season. After some time, you go over to the other age bracket. Now, if you have not used your youth age well, you go to the other side when you're a bitter person. You are more dangerous than a young person, more dangerous than a youth. So this is the moment for the youth to be directed to make better use of their energies. With those comments, I have a presentation to make. I hope my machine can work. Where's the, oh, it has come? Oh yes, by the way, that one permanently, permanently. So the first comment I have there is that African youth are living in interesting times. I didn't want to go for the negative word which is saying conflicting times. Conflicting, that there is the benefit and there is the negative. But the interesting times are that traditional jobs are vanishing or reshaping. Robotics and artificial intelligence are taking away some of the traditional jobs we used to have. And it will tell you banking is changed now. People who used to line to pay school fees, and you have got 2,000 people reporting to a bank in 2 days. Today, you don't see even one, but the school fees is being paid. Technology has taken over. Accountancy the same, engineering the same. Whether you are talking of manufacturing, mechanics, construction, technology is doing a great job. Now, what that is doing is, whereas we have gone for those courses, very few will practice what we call pure courses the way we used to have them before. Two, if you miss to get the so-called good jobs, you are likely to get some modest entry job, which will pay you modest salary, which salary will not recoup the investments you've made in education. On average today in Uganda, and I know in most African countries, a 3-year degree course in Uganda is about 12 million. 12 million is 3,600. That's the money you are paid at the university to get that degree. But this job that you have gotten, if you are lucky, it will pay you 100,000 shillings. 100,000 shillings, sorry, 300,000 or 350,000 shillings is an equivalent of $100 in hard currency. Now, if somebody is earning a salary of 350,000, then you put in the expenses of living, transport, and everything else. The net that person, when I calculated, can save is $6 in a month. Now, $6 in a month, if you divided 3,000 by 3,600 by $6, you get 600 months of earning a salary. You need to work for 600 months earning a salary to just save $6 per year. And if you divided that, you'll find that if you divided the 600 months by 12 months to get the number of years of working, to recover the 3,600, you need to work for 50 years. 50 years of working, saving minimally, and then you end up with basically a person who is rugged, because by that time you'll be 70 years. But you have just recouped the investment in education. Number two, these jobs that are paying you low pay are basic jobs, not challenging. Compared to what you studied at the university, it's not stimulating. What does that do to you? You become disillusioned. If you are disillusioned, you are not productive. What does the employer do? He doesn't promote you. What does the employer then do? He promotes somebody with a lower qualification but more committed. That person becomes your boss. He has less paper qualifications, but he's a better employee. He becomes your employer, and that gets you to become even less committed and less self-driven. Because of that, when job shakeups come and organizations are restructuring, the unfortunate message is it's the young people first out of the door. It is common in Uganda, it's common in most African countries, and the scenario is created by this picture I've just talked about here. But the next slide is putting something good to the message, the silver lining. It says there are many opportunities through the gig economy. This word GIG never used to exist. Today we have this word. A gig economy places more premium on completion of the assignment as opposed to the long-term employment of somebody and saying, you have a job of 2 years, you have a job of 10 years, a job of 5 years. In a gig economy, they tell you, tomorrow supply us 50 chicken. This is the price we're giving you. When you supply the chicken, we pay you on time. So the youth will jump out in the morning, take initiative, take charge of the entire assignment, deliver the chicken, gets paid, and you're out. No residual obligation from the person who has taken the chicken. Those, therefore, with limited education under the gig economy, but with the right work ethic, have a chance to earn and build careers. And the ability to take up an assignment and execute it well opens more doors for repeat orders and many job offers from the market. And our youth are doing that. Now, if our youth are doing that, and they continue to multiply the clients and generate loyalty, what does that mean? It means our youth can be able to create an entrepreneur that can move a business from micro to small, small to medium, medium to large. And the lesson I'm driving at here is the youth we have today, whereas the jobs are limited, these people are impressionable, they are flexible, they can be taken into enterprise business, enterprise management, and they can afford to do any type of a job. Now, I have an example there, which I want to give you as a person that Enterprise Uganda took on when he was still in his last year at the university. This case study illustrates what the African youth today should be seeing as an opportunity in the continent. This is a case study of a young man from a remote village in Uganda called Yasin. He was born into a rural mom, very poor, and the mom was a single mother with 7 children. This young man, after Enterprise Uganda training and getting the business mindset, started a business with limited pocket money while studying. He was at the university in his 3rd year, limited money while studying. Every weekend he would report to a village where they collect fish, and he buys the fish. For the 12 months he was in his 3rd year, he was traveling 120 kilometers going, 120 kilometers back to Kampala, a total of 240 kilometers every weekend to go and buy fresh fish and come and sell them in Kampala. His startup capital was $140. He repeated those trips, and that money grew to $1,400. In Ugandan shillings, he started with 500,000. By the time he was leaving the university, it was 5 million in 12 months. At 29 years today, he has seen exports 3,500 kilos of fish every day to Kenya. Not a month, not a year, every day. He sells the same volume to people in Kampala, in Natete, and in Bwaise every day. 29 years old. Using the income this young man has been able to build up in 4 years, actually now 5 years. He has built 3 houses in Jinja for rental. He has bought 6 lorries for transporting his fish. 6 lorries. He employs 51 staff. One of them is a lady who is the internal auditor with a degree in auditing. He has got 3 graduates he has employed. The sales per month, per year, $1.2 million. He says his profit on that figure is between 10 and 15%. That is a decent $100,000 net income per year. Initially made he progressed to 1,400. Now every year is getting better by $100,000. The young man did not go anywhere to borrow money. The young man did not go anywhere to be connected to anybody. The entrepreneurial mindset within the continent of Africa opened for him great opportunities. What has he done to the mom? He has built for mommy a permanent house with electricity, with water. He now educates all the other children, the relatives. He says he spends an average of 5 million shillings, and for those who are not Uganda, that's $1,400 every time to educate his siblings. I want to say this, the story of Magino is not peculiar. It's not only in Uganda, it's everywhere in Africa. If you check anybody who is listening to this symposium now, anywhere in Africa, check the story of a successful local entrepreneur. At what age they started, what they started with, how basic the type of a business they started with, the location, very similar to the story of Magino. Limited resources. Whether you talk of Dangote, whether you talk of whoever across the continent of Africa, most of the businesses in Africa were started by youth. So the youth who are listening should never be imagining that this is the first time we are calling on them to start running youth-led enterprises. It has been the norm, it will continue to be the case. But what are the learnings from this story? Because that's very important. It is those learnings there that we need to replicate and make sure they become part of our conversation. The key learning from Magino's story or Yasin's story is true entrepreneurship, not the one where you beg somebody and say, oh, yeah, young man, you come out, I give you something, go and start something. True entrepreneurship defies common wisdom, which is what? It is not about the novelty of the idea. Selling fish is just getting fish from one location and transporting it to Kampala. There's nothing unique about that. It's not about a sophisticated business plan. And what I'm mentioning here, please, if you are listening anywhere in Africa, go and pick an entrepreneur you know. Check whether they had 70-page business plan. It wasn't there. But that young man had a plan that was basic and practical. It is not about a special amount of startup capital. This young man wanted to just enjoy his money and be a reasonable young man on campus. He said, no, this capital now can become my business money. No special amount, no waiting for government, no waiting for auntie, no waiting for your aunties. You have what it takes to start. It's also not about a special business location. Wherever you are, in a desert, be it Libya, be it Tunisia, you can start a business there. It's not even about going into a sector of your professional education. Yasin was educated in sociology and he got an upper second degree. But he came and said, I'm not even going to look for a job. He didn't apply. Straight, he went and concentrated on his fish. Today he has diversified. The game changer here is starting as soon as possible. Learn on the job. When graduates are infused, that's another lesson. When graduates are given the right business mindset, here's the message. They create businesses that formalize faster and create quality jobs, and they diversify faster and more in a more organized way. What matters is master of technical skills of the enterprise, working on efficiency and quality, and then managing your finances. How do you do that? These are the foundational principles that I want to close with for the youth in Africa who are watching here. Number one, develop a good business idea or a business concept which solves a problem, meets and fulfills need, offers a better customer service, or simplifies life. Do it and we start paying you. Two, start where you are, the way you are. Do not wait to be taken to another city, to another location. Where you are, start selling the solution that has been defined in the first bullet. And that business that you are going to run should be within your terms, your capital, your skills, your time. Yasin knew on weekends is free. He bought a taxi and travels 120 kilometers and comes back within his time, within his capital. That's what he did. But as he was doing that, he was a little bit isolated by colleagues. So what he did, he boosted his interest by looking at the contribution of his business to improvement of humanity. When people are waiting for his fish, a restaurant owner, a family for a wedding, that makes Yasin a very happy boy. Next, the business should be possible to push into liquidity, into break-even operation as soon as possible without waiting for anybody. If you start a business where you are now saying, I have now reached this stage, now I don't have capital, you chose a wrong size of a business. Scale it down to something that can start giving you money. Ignore public opinion. Why? The moment results begin to come through, Those who were laughing at Yasin when he was traveling over the weekend to go and bring fish, then he finishes selling fish on Sunday and returns to the university when he's smelling his fish. Today, they can't talk like that. The young man is driving a beautiful saloon car. The young man is counting dollars every day. The young man is checking on his accounts on people who have not paid the full deliveries on dollar terms. The conversation will change. Do not mind about the public opinion. Foundation principle number 3. Assess the key success factors of your type of business. Why is this important? It's important because no matter what type of a business you are going to start, an example already exists. Somebody has done it. And please, if you're a young person, if you're a beginner in business, do not try to go for something totally new. Go for something where somebody has been there before. And then master the minimum entry requirements of that sector. How do you do that? Talk to an existing owner. Yasin had to understand a man who used to buy fish from Buyende and bring to Kampala, and he mastered how he was doing it. Talk to a key staff of that business. They are skilled, that's why they are called the key staff. Talk to suppliers of such a business. And then talk to the subject or sector experts. But remember, do not take too long to start, because the enemy of great is being good. So do not wait to become great enough before you start. Innovate to overcome hurdles associated with competition, limited capital, but be ready to do several bridging business opportunities before you can go into something big. And at all times, deliver a solution which is beyond what you are paid for by the customer. That slide is the centerpiece of success or failure. Now, that's the closing slide there. Keep learning. Today, you have started a business that has been able to generate modest income. The moment Yasin begins to get money going beyond the traditional $100 he was getting per day and begins going to thousands, you can easily fail to continue learning and improving. If you see yourself stopping to learn, your satisfaction levels have come too soon. So keep sharpening the key success factors non-stop by learning daily. And whatever you learn, this is not about academics. Apply them. Learn again, apply again, learn again, apply again, and let the skills keep on growing. The last bullet is about evidence that you are making financial literacy part of your journey. Any growth of a business solely based on external resources denies one opportunity to build your own business muscles. You need to be able to say, I've been growing at this pace, but I want to go to EcoBank, so that instead of growing at 10%, I should be growing at 40%. The more limited the resources at the beginning, that's why we spoil some of these young people. We overshower them with everything they need. The more limited the resources at the beginning, the better you appreciate every resource. Today, Yasin will want to know, where did $1 go? Like Annette will never close a branch of a bank without balancing to the last dollar. Yasin now does the same. Preserve capital and reinvest at least 50% of the profit. If you start doing that, you are headed for glory. You made a profit. Did you eat it all? If you ate it all, it doesn't matter how big that profit was. You are growing. You are not going to go anywhere. All personal expenses, no matter what you want to enjoy, whether it's a Mercedes Benz, whether it's a beautiful house, it must fit within 15% of the profit. The moment it goes outside the 50% of the profit, you are not going to create a vibrant enterprise. And finally, set a goal, accomplish it, set a higher one, accomplish it, and set another one, non-stop. Yasin today is saying, today he's supplying fish to Kenya. He wants to go to Rwanda, he wants to go to Tanzania, he wants to start now seasoning the fish and go to Europe. He's setting a goal, accomplishing, setting another one. That's the closing quotation there. Life is 10% what happens to you, Today you're a youth, that's 10%. 90% of life is how you respond to that state of being a youth. So do not blame your being a youth. Do not blame the nature of your parents. Do not blame the level of your education. That is 10%. How you respond to that status or that condition is what matters. Thank you so much, and I'm happy to have been part of this. And please, the continent of Africa is a great continent. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Charles Ochichi. Well done. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to invite the next presenter. Our second presenter is online.
I am going to start with a word of thanks to Human Capital for convening such a forum, a very relevant forum in our times and in our world. And also a special thank you to the co-sponsors. Of course, EcoBank comes to mind, but also all the others, ABW, Events, Rock, Jim Roberts, Sheraton, and yes, and of course, we ourselves, ABI. So thank you very much. I'll get right into it. Women and youth-focused SMEs in Uganda. Explain that ABI, Agricultural Business Initiative, it's a multi-donor funded enterprise that channels development cooperation funding. So we're looking to a competitive, profitable, and sustainable agriculture by way of our vision. And we're looking to promote private sector business, agribusiness development to enhance wealth creation. So in enhancing wealth creation in Uganda, of course, we have to look at the statistics. And the statistics are showing us that 77% of Ugandans are actually under 25 years. So there is a big youth potential in the country. And I believe my fellow panelists, Mr. Ochichi and Annette, were really speaking to this. The other big statistic we need to look at is 51% of us, or maybe to be more precise, 50.9% of us are female. So how do we get the potential of this and utilize it for growing the competitiveness and the wealth creation in the country? That is why at ABI, our gender policy and strategy is actually to promote equality between women and men in sustainable agribusiness for equitable wealth creation. We believe that when we bring the two genders closer together, we will promote the reduction in the gaps to see that there is an opportunity for wealth creation. And our objectives are in promoting gender equity in ABI and our partners, because we work through partners, through their governance systems, through how they work, and through their enterprises. We ensure that women, men, and youth, this is very important for us in our policy, have equitable access to benefits and opportunities in agribusiness. And this has been shown as very relevant as we work with partnerships, because we've had surveys that have indicated that in those partnerships where there was more farming as a family business, where there was an engagement as a whole between men, women, and youth, we have seen more productivity, we have seen more production, and we have seen more wealth creation. So our role in advancing women and youth SMEs has been catalytic. It's a catalytic role through both agribusinesses as well as financial institutions. And this is because these are the ones that are serving our SMEs, they are serving our farmer groups, and they are serving associations, and right down to the smallholder farmer. You'll find financial institutions will partner with churning out loans to varied enterprises. So our work with them is to provide liquidity, not only liquidity, but de-risking instruments to see that more of that can be provided in the agribusiness space. And we do this based on socially responsible investments. We promote socially responsible investments. And number 4 out of those principles of ours in socially responsible investing is actually that our activities shall be underlined by the promotion and protection of vulnerable groups. we have defined vulnerable groups as women and youth, as well as being location specific in northern Uganda. Today, our focus is women and youth. And indeed, as we conduct our due diligence, the tools we are using, the emphasis in ESG on the S factor is the gender aspect and the inclusivity. How do we bring on board more of these active parties in the economy who are not as included as they should be? We also promote social performance management within our financial institutions in use of tools. And this is also to help us to ascertain at what level are they, how can we work with them to improve their focus on including gender, not just as their clients, but also in their governance systems. Because as we bring more on board the equity in making decisions, even at the levels of the financial institutions, the more we are going to include all of the varied aspects of our economy that we need to be in play, the women and the youth specifically. What is another role we are doing? So if we ascertain their gaps, we will indeed engage with business development services, technical assistance directly to our SMEs, or be it financial institutions, direct training to really bring on board or bring to their appreciation the need for this gender inclusivity or youth engagement. The gender mainstreaming amongst agribusinesses partnered with is a very key issue. So in each project we are looking at, in each funding, and probably I didn't raise that we are funding through 3 main instruments at the moment. We have grant financing, but we also have lines of credits to financial institutions so that they can on-lend to agribusinesses, and at the same time, a key instrument in an agricultural loan guarantee fund that supports us to de-risk the lending and as such incentivize financial institutions to lend more to agribusinesses. So as we partner with them, we are actually asking them to enable us track. We are setting with them targets on how much they are going to do to promote the gender agenda. And we have taken on board in our role a household approach. Why is that? Because we have proven right from afar where we picked it up from that farming as a family business can actually mean more productivity as a whole for the entire family, where everybody is participating in the decision making, where everybody, even the youth, even the children, the wife, the husband, are contributing well, not just in production alone, but also in marketing as well as the decision making. Other role has been to support through umbrella apex bodies, and we've worked with the likes of the apex body for coffee development, UCDA, UCFA, Uganda Cooperative Farmers Alliance, IITA, where we're working on the issue of aflatoxin and coming with a solution for the same, AMFEW, which is an association for microfinance institutions, and Uganda Central Cooperative Financial Services, for which I'll have an example later. Is there a business case for gender equality in agribusiness? We believe so, especially when we go back to the statistics I mentioned earlier. Remember, 77% of our population is under 25. A very young population, as Mr. Ochichi highlighted, that Africa is young. How do we use this potential? 51% female. How do we use that potential? We have promotion of farming as a family business, like I pointed out, in good agricultural practices, but also including all members in the family, so that the outcomes of their engagements can be multiplied. When they are multiplied at the same cost, we are able to actually see more wealth creation within the family setup, within agribusiness as a whole. When we involve women by providing labor to realize higher volumes, and it's unfortunate that you couldn't see those specific slides, but when they are involved in labor, we tend to realize higher volumes, and we tend to have this production going in a directed manner. And the picture we have there is of a number of women sorting, but we are not saying that these are the only roles that women can play. That is why, as we appraise the governance setup, we also promote in our partnerships lifting the role of women in varied levels, in middle management, as well as senior management. Then female workers can also find full-time equivalent jobs. Our main outcomes and impacts we look at when we talk about wealth creation are actually number of jobs, but also enhanced income. So when all those aspects are covered, there is a business case for women's participation in agribusiness, where we can see high efficiency, production, and productivity levels. So I have a slide here, but I'll speak to it for you because unfortunately you can't see it, but it's speaking for the numbers in terms of outreach. And why do we look at the numbers? Why are we tracking the numbers? Because it's allowing us for measurement. And it's allowing us to see that they can be remedial action. So if we had targeted to have 40% outreach, for instance, we knew we had a baseline of 30 for sure in 2014. So we targeted that when we engage with farmers, we want our outreach to reach, to be, let's say, 200,000 farmers, smallholder farmers. But 40% of those should really be women. Why? Because it's growing from a 34 and it's heading somewhere. And where we discover in our partnerships that it is not growing, it's not trending positively, then we have to think of remedial action. So the outreach percentages are for the last 3 years from 18 to 2020 have surpassed 511. And out of that, we've seen about 45% being women, starting from a baseline in 2014 of much less than that. The percentage was around 34. We've also seen full-time equivalent jobs falling a bit from 40% in 2018, out of the 10,000. This is full-time equivalent, not casual, falling from 40% to 20, but inching up a little bit in 2020. The numbers in 2020 were dismal, were falling, in light of what is happening around us, but we still target to move these particular numbers up towards including more youth and more women in full-time jobs. In terms of the agricultural clients that we've seen over those 3 years I've mentioned, we've seen about 500,000 as well, almost 600,000, and the percentage there has really grown, still from the 30s in 2014 to now 50% and above. And reason here is because of our partnerships that have really targeted and focused on social performance management and how they approach women, and also looking at their portfolios and seeing that actually in lending to female clients has been a better quality than the male clients in that regard. This doesn't mean we don't want our male clients to borrow. Yes, we promote that, but this is about getting equity, getting the whole family weighing in and having the capacity to do more. The same applies to new clients on ag insurance, averaging around 40% on the 110 we've seen over the 3 years. I have some specific interventions that I'll go through quickly in interest of the time allocated. Specifically, we have partnered with an incubation facility, and it is called Consortium for Enhancing University Responsiveness to Agribusiness Development, in short, CURAD. So CURAD is specifically looking at the youth, skilled and unskilled. It doesn't target only the skilled, but the unskilled as well, to start up agro enterprises and SMEs that develop business ideas and innovation sustainably. So working together with them, we've set up a plant in Namamve, and I had a picture there to show you for the launching of that particular area. And in here, we are actually promoting a standardization, good packaging, quality of the product that goes out. And out of currently 82 incubatees, we are seeing that 35 of them are owned by women and undergoing business incubation to graduate. The key thing here we are doing with CURAD is to see all of these are youth, by the way, but also to see that the inclusivity of women is part of the agenda. I will not speak to this and jump to the funding digitization to enhance women's access to financial services. This is with a partnership of the Uganda Central Cooperative Financial Services. This has been particularly helpful in terms of the innovation it brings to the table. It can ensure that digitally using MSACO, we can actually reach many financial institutions, especially in Tier 4, can be able to reach their clients far and wide. Women with their domestic chores and other burdens that they're taking care of may not have as much, have limited movement back and forth in terms of accessing financial services. And indeed, not many financial services will be able to place branches all over the place, but they can actually be able to bring the services closer by using digital channels, which MSACO introduction has done. Here we've seen a growth of youth, both youth and women participation, because of the accessibility and the ease of use that it brings. Importantly, we noted in 2020 that digital channels indeed were very much required, as all of our movement was limited. And this has also been shown in the recently published annual report from the central bank, showing that actually some ATMs were closed and some branches were closed in the period, and enhanced use of digital channels came to the fore. So ABI has partnered with others, including UCCF that I'm mentioning here, to see that these digital channels can enable not just women, but men as well to actually reach and access financial services, further enable their SMEs to run properly. Other interventions I can highlight is the provision of ag loans. I think we've already mentioned this and gone over that one, but we have a recent partnership with the National Social Security Fund, which was launched about, I think that was April, of the High Innovator Initiative. And it seeks to boost survival rate of youth-led SMEs. We had a specific testimonies delivered there, like just today, the testimony that Mr. Ochichi has delivered, for instance. We had examples of people that participated in the pilot of this particular partnership, supporting the youth in basically technical requirements, as well as linkages, and linkages can be to markets, not just money, but markets, networks that support them to have a higher survival rate. Ugandans generally, we are entrepreneurial, but now the issue is how do we ensure that these businesses survive? How can we grow them from one level to another? So we are partnering with this NSSF, and this is still in the contracting phases, but we believe in this particular intervention, we will also see more youth-led ag businesses grow, and also women included. We offer technical assistance, and we see technical assistance and coaching to prepare for business investments. And in here, of course, we are tracking the numbers, not just the numbers, but also the percentage of the women that are being included and the linkages for them. What lessons are we seeing along the way? We note that most youth need support in starting up. Yes, many start, but many stagger, or many stop, or don't make their third year. So the reason for that is why we approach it from the incubation perspective, but also approaching it from the partnerships and collaborations. And I believe being here today with human capital gives us an opportunity, like I believe Mr. Muhwezi, the commissioner, mentioned. It gives us a round table and an opportunity to find new collaborations on what else can we do to ensure the survival rate of our youth-led SMEs. Then seed support to the young entrepreneurs enhances their business capacities and contributes to sustainable competitiveness in the ag space. So there's a need for that seed support. There's a need for a bit of a push in some instances. There's a need for some training and continuous provision of these BDS services. We are currently working on BDS tools, and these tools are to help us. And these tools are to help us be able to have a curriculum that we can standardize and use for the purpose of ensuring that our graduates coming out from the incubation centers that we are working with, coming out from our own BDS, internal BDS we are doing, can actually have good survival rates. So ag technology, which is customized to youth skills, is also important, not just any form of technology, but customized, will drive youth and women focused. So I want to thank you very much, share with you a few case studies. So I shared about that young lady from Curad, that incubation center. And the next one is a young gentleman who is in appropriate fertilizer use. The third one is a coffee farmer, Bernard Ongom, working with us with one of our partners, Kawako, and working together with the wife in farming as a family business. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Josephine Mukumbia, for that presentation. And you kept within time. It's a wonderful panel that I'm dealing with, very conscious about time. Ladies and gentlemen, our third presenter is going to be the group manager, trade and value chain, EcoBank, David Asiedu.
A very good afternoon, everyone, from somewhere in Africa, more specifically along the western coast of Africa. I'm currently in Ghana, and as you rightly said, I'm the group manager responsible for trade and value chain. We'll start with a few comments about the EcoBank Group and what we stand for, and then try and link it to our Elevate program and why it's important to us. As we've already shared, EcoBank is a Pan-African bank which is committed to the regional integration of the African continent. And it's important that we support economic development across Africa, because unlike some other banks, in EcoBank, we believe our strategy is Africa. This is home. We have nowhere else to go. You would realize that we have presence in over 33 countries. We are resilient. We stay even when there's economic strife, famine, conflicts. Just to give a few examples, 15, 20 years ago, when there was a civil war in Liberia, we were there, we never left. We are in East Africa, Southern Africa, even countries that may not look profitable to other banks. We've always stayed there because this is home. And we always say Africa is our strategy. Dovetailing into the main purpose of our discussion, I wanted to start by sharing a few, facts about women and access to finance. I think we've already mentioned that 50% of Africa's population is made up of women. And then, 1 in 4 female adults in Africa starts or manages a business, making Africa one of the world's highest in terms of women entrepreneurs. Okay. Another fact is that SMEs generally account for up to 90% of all businesses in Africa. And the case is the same in Uganda. I think I looked it up from the Ugandan Investment Authority, and per information from the Ugandan Investment Authority, 90% of all businesses are SMEs. In Uganda, in particular, 38% of all businesses are owned by women, which is very high. I think it's one of the highest in the world. The average is 1/3, which is probably 33. Uganda is 38. My belief is that even as we speak, you probably crossed the 40% mark. Now, with all this, focus on women, we also realize that there's a big financing gap when it comes to SMEs, 42 billion across Africa, with 15.6 billion of this amount specifically attributable to agriculture. And this is especially important for the case of Uganda because agriculture is your mainstay, is your most significant contributor to GDP. Now, where does the financing female come into all this, puzzle of information? Where we see value as EcoBank is the fact that research has shown that women invest up to 90% of their incomes into their families and communities. And this is outstanding. Maybe we should all give a small clap for our women. Unfortunately, the men like myself usually keep more of their money for personal stuff, I guess. But it's obvious from these statistics that, you know, once you support women to create sustainable livelihoods, you are, by extension, impacting the community and stimulating economic growth for the country and for Africa as a whole. And that's why at EcoBank, we believe that our goal of positively contributing to the economic and financial integration will be further strengthened if we focus specifically on women. Okay, so our value proposition under Elevate is that we want to bridge some of the identified challenges that women faced. So, and our proposition will offer women businesses an end-to-end partnership, which lets them access both financial and non-financial services. And for us, this is the game changer. You know, there may be other propositions from other finance institutions that would target giving loans to women, which would probably satisfy the financial side of things. But this is a 360, you know, encompassing solution that we've put together. We will train you, we'll support you along the way, we'll hold hands with you in trying to create, you know, sustainable livelihoods for our women. Okay, so that's our value proposition and the Elevate. And in the subsequent slides, we will see what our proposal is to exactly achieve this. Now, who qualifies for Elevate and what is Elevate? Okay, like I have already mentioned, EcoBank seeks to impact communities through the Elevate program, and qualification for Elevate is under 4 main pillars: entrepreneurship, leadership in women, employment of women, and consumption. Okay, I'll spend a bit of time to try and explain how these come together to let our women qualify under Elevate financing program. So the first pillar, which is entrepreneurship, is that if you have a business that is more than 50% owned by women or a woman, or it was founded by a woman, you automatically qualify for Elevate. Okay, so you have a business that does, you know, buying and selling, you know, cosmetics, handbags. You could even be involved in an activity that is specifically, you know, for only men. But because you're a woman or you're a woman entrepreneur, you qualify under our Elevate program. The second criteria is leadership. And under leadership, what we say is that we want to see 20% share of women on the board. I mean, that's if it's a larger company and you have a board, or at least 20% women in management. And when we say management, it doesn't have to be a big institution. So if it's a family business and you do it with your husband and, for example, your sister, then you qualify, because then between yourself being a woman and your sister, you exceed the 20%. Even if it's between yourself and your husband, and you have an active say in how the business is run, then you qualify under leadership. Basically, we want to try and empower women in the decision-making process of our businesses. Qualification and employment is pretty simple, and that is if you have a business that employs 30% or more women in your business. So you're a dressmaker, you're a fashion designer, and you have women who work for you in your small business. So I'll try to give an example. There are 5 of them working for you. So you have 2 males and 3 females, automatically you qualify. Okay. So once you can demonstrate that you are giving equal employment opportunities to women, you qualify and elevate. Consumption, which is my favorite, because that's where women, have a chance. So under consumption, basically what it tries to define is that if you are engaged in a business activity that manufactures or markets products that are focused for women, you qualify. Okay, so basically I'll try and explain that a bit more. You could be a man, but be engaged in the selling of jewelry to women, or cosmetics, which is mainly used by women, or handbags or slippers, shoes. Once it's predominantly female-focused business, you qualify for Elevate. Okay, so I think between these 5 pillars, I think most businesses find a way to, qualify and empower women, helping us to meet our agenda of impacting our communities by creating sustainable livelihoods for our women across Africa. Okay, so how do we support Elevate? We have a product suite where we list both financial and non-financial support. Under financial support, we have a myriad of cash management solutions. We'll go into a bit more into detail in the next slide. We also have digital solutions and collection platforms. I think the importance of digital solutions has been emphasized. During COVID, people prefer to be what they say contactless. So we have a myriad of digital solutions. I think EcoBank is one of the banks that invested heavily in the past 5 years in digital solutions, and it served us very well during the pandemic and even post-pandemic Africa. The key advantage on the financial services for under Elevate is that we have favorable lending rates for qualifying clients. And what that means is that if, for example, the interest rate for taking a loan at EcoBank Uganda is 20% or 25% or 23%, depending on which product you are trying to access, because you're an Elevate client, that interest rate would be reduced anywhere between 50 to 150 basis points. So if it's 20%, you may enjoy 19 or 18.5, depending on which product you are accessing. So I would encourage everyone to who qualifies to go to your nearest EcoBank branch and make inquiries about how you can take advantage of our financial solution. But for me, the cherry on top, which is what makes me really happy, is the non-financial support we are attaching to the Elevate program. And under the non-financial support, we aim to train, MSMEs through what we call the EcoBank MSME Academy. It's a virtual academy that has been set up to run training programs that support the various sectors that MSMEs are involved in. And later on, I'll give you an example of what we are currently. It covers areas, so it could be agribusiness this month. In 2 months' time, it could be on startup business and what the risks are and how to manage your business. The following month, it could be on cash flows and how to put your books or prepare a loan from a. And all these interventions are aimed at helping our women MSMEs have easier access to credit, and also help us meet the bigger, agenda of impacting our communities, our countries, and Africa at large. Also, one of the key non-financial supports that we have under Elevate is providing access to markets through what we call an online presence. So Google I'm sure a few of you know about Google My Business, so that if anybody goes to Google Maps and wants to, search for where to eat, your dine, your restaurant will probably come up because EcoBank has supported you to pin it on Google Maps. Additionally, it will give you opportunity to meet other people who are engaged in your trade so that you can learn from them, and also expose you to marketing opportunities, both within your country, in this case, Uganda, if you are involved in the production of agri-products and you were previously limited to only selling in your local district, you could meet people on our networking hubs where you'd be able to sell it to other people in Uganda and even across borders. So that's the 360 approach I was talking about, and I think that is what is unique to the Elevate program. Going a bit more into details on our financial services, we have bespoke cash management and collection solutions as part of our offering, and we have what we call the business current account. The business current accounts are tailor-made accounts that speak to your line of business. So there are various account options that would accommodate how you trade. So if your offering is that a lot of people come in there and they use mobile money, or they use POS, or they use scanning QR code, etc., we have a solution that is best suited for that. If your business is such that for now you collect more physical cash, and therefore you want to be able to collect it and then deposit it at what we call an express point, that there's a product for that. So I encourage everybody here again to contact your nearest EcoBank branch and make more inquiries about how to open the right account that suits your business. Obviously, we have an online banking solution, OmniLite, where you can make payments. So for larger businesses that need to pay salaries from the comfort of your home, I know Uganda is on lockdown now, but I'm sure people still want to get paid. You can do that on the comfort of your home via OmniLite. If you need to pay for any services as a business, you can also do that through our OmniLite application. I already mentioned the QR code, which is an interactive and contactless way of paying for goods and services at the various business outlets. POS, we are all familiar with. We also provide POS solutions across our business, for our businesses, sorry. Now, I know what a lot of people will be interested in is, what do I get from EcoBank? And so I'll talk about our liability and loan products. Under Elevate, we have favorable, rates for savings and investments, all trying to, promote, financial inclusion for women. We also have bespoke products that speak to the specific needs of women. We finance what we call stock and inventory under the Elevate program. And indeed, Africa is it's a buying and selling continent. That's what I call it. And so almost everybody is involved in some form of buying and selling. And what we have as a solution under stock and inventory, fits that billing. But of course, don't say you heard it from me, but Under Elevate, you would enjoy preferential pricing under stock and inventory financing. Also, we do what we call contract and receivables financing, or LPO financing. And here I'll probably cite an example of the agricultural value chain. So if we want to finance the agricultural value chain, we have solutions that would impact both from the farm gates, the small the small farmer who does it on the personal or family level, all the way to the aggregator who aggregates from the small farmer, to the what I call the mega aggregator who has silos and stores it, and then finally to the off-taker, whether it's a multinational or it's the government, where you, all along the value chain, we have solutions that are targeted to these people. And also, we must not forget another critical service provider, which is transport. So along that value chain, the maize or the wheat or the whatever commodity it is has to move, from the farm to the city center to another country, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll also finance if you have, for example, a contract to supply X tons of maize or wheat to a specific location. Once you're able to prove that you've been awarded a contract to do so. And under Elevate, I want to emphasize that the terms of lending with regards to the interest rate and pricing are reduced, all in an effort to support women. Now, we just want to make the point that Elevate is not a static product, okay? And that the Elevate proposition will evolve as the business dynamics evolve, and that we are ultimately interested in being a long-term partner to create sustainable livelihoods for our women across Africa. Okay. Our value-added services, I'll just spend a few minutes here, even as we finish the presentation. I already mentioned that we had training programs through our MSME Academy. We have it generally in we have two faculties that we run. One for high-end or larger SMEs, where they are a bit more structured, and we've partnered with global business schools, which includes some Ivy League schools. I wouldn't want to mention their names here, but you would get certification after going through EcoBank leadership training and certification program. And I'm sure everybody would want to, the business executives who are present here would want to get certification from a Yale or a Harvard or an Oxford, etc., etc. Then to satisfy the lower end of the market, which is very critical, we have what we call the virtual SME bootcamp, where, as I mentioned, we have solutions that cover things like financial planning, business management, preparing to access loans, and also, liaise with the local, support services. So if it's agric, we would liaise with agric extension officers in your country to provide, support, even as we provide financing to help, boost your yield, et cetera, et cetera. And like I mentioned earlier, the added benefit is that we will create a pool of mentors across African continent, where ladies and women can look up to and learn, the strengths of the trade. I mean, there's always a shortcut to achieving success. I always say it's always better to consult somebody who's charted that particular path. And what we believe that when women meet and they interact, they will share their experiences, and it will go a long way into shortening the learning curves for those that are coming up. Okay, finally, we wanted to mention the benefit of creating a marketplace where you could access and also market your goods and services. The last slide basically talks about some of the initiatives we've already done or we are in the process of doing, and how this we believe is impacting our communities. The first one is what we call the AUDA-NEPAD program. AUDA-NEPAD is the development finance arm of the African Union, and we've partnered with them under their 100,000 MSMEs initiative. We are providing training for financing across 8 countries initially. As I speak to you, I think they finished the first 2 models that deals with risk management for SMEs and then also financial planning. At the end of the program, which is scheduled for 4 weeks, we will then grant loans totaling $2 million to them. Uganda wasn't one of the first 8 countries, but I believe I've seen your name. I'll confirm to you. I'm not too sure whether you're in the next 8 or the 3rd batch, but we are coming to Uganda definitely. And this emphasizes our journey and our proposition. We don't want to just, give you the money and then leave you and come, chasing you our money back when things go wrong. So we'll give you the support, the training, before advancing the funds to you. And even as you grow your business, we'll stay in touch. We'll provide advisory services from experts. And that's what, the Elevate program stands for. Our second intervention is what we call the Zero Malaria Business Leadership Initiatives. And that is taking advantage of regional presence across Africa to drive, corporate Africa to contribute to eradicating malaria, because, malaria, now there's COVID, there was HIV, but malaria still kills a lot of people across the continent. And we've launched it in a couple of countries, Burkina Faso, Benin, Senegal, and we've been able to raise a sizable amount, $360,000 that has been pledged for malaria eradication activities. Some of the mobile networks, including MTN, have come along in some of the countries in disseminating information on malaria to create awareness. The initiative is being expanded, and on this one, as you can see from my slide, Uganda is in the next phase. So we'll be coming to touch lives in Uganda, and so watch out. Okay, so I would want to end here. In the interest of time, I think we would take more questions. The idea is to take more questions than give a lecture or a speech. And so I want to thank everybody for your attention, and I'll hand over to the moderator. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thanks, David. I know that you exceeded your time a bit, but it was all worth it, and we still followed the discussion. Allow me now take the opportunity to invite Jean-Philippe Bittencourt. You're most welcome.
Thank you so much. It's a great pleasure to be again here with you. Thank you, Human Capital, Emmanuel Leitoumi, for this platform, this opportunity. And we are really very glad to keep on supporting these initiatives. Very glad to meet my friend Charles again after so many years. We partnered in the past. I hope that this is a start of something new, because the subject about youth, about women, agriculture, we in hospitality, we have a big contribution. So just to remind that we as hospitality, we need agriculture because we need to feed our guests. And hospitality is a very good showcase of the products of the country for our tourists, for the business people that come here. So I could say and warranty you that most, maybe 90% of our products are from Uganda, bought in Uganda. very few items. It's really those very exquisite products that we bring from elsewhere. So that's one important message also to pass, that please support hospitality, because we are a key player to support agriculture. Secondly, a key player to support the youth, because we employ a lot of young people. 70% of the people working in this hotel are between 20 and 30 years old, and it's the same for other hotels or in the industry. So the youth need jobs, they need to develop their career. So please, let's help us to get more support. And the same for the women. There are so many specific jobs in hospitality that women are much better than men to do. And I'm not talking about only the housekeepers, or I'm talking about in the accounting department. I can tell you the women are much more serious than the men. The audits, quality control. So again, we are, I think, hospitality a key player. Today we are back in a moment of resilience because of the circumstances. It's difficult, it's tough, but we went through this last year. We are going again this time. And if we have to go again, one more, we will go. We will stay resilient. We will resist, because our industry is extremely important. Today, the key things is the reinforcement, of course, of the SOPs. It's very important that, like you are here today, to feel that you are in a safe environment, where our staffs, the associates, are always practicing the good manners, and also wearing the SOPs, wearing the PPEs, which is so important. And also, I can say most of the people in this hotel have been vaccinated, the first dose. Unfortunately, now we are waiting for the second dose. But it's important for people to know that we have really not forced, but pushed people to go for the vaccination, because we think it's a very important, and people will feel more safe. Digital solutions, we have worked a lot on that in the last year, but we are continuing. The guests feel more safe when you have digital solutions rather than closed services, even if we have to keep the human touch. But these options are there more and more, and especially through what we call the Marriott application, Marriott Mobile Solutions. Marriott is our global company that holds Sheraton brand. So have invested a lot in digital solutions for our members, the Marriott Bonvoy program. And it's a program that is open for everyone, not only for guests staying in the hotel, but for people who come to our restaurants, who come to events. So you accumulate points, and you have a platform of solutions, informations, many possibilities. Is upon booking hotel rooms, it's a travel service. So we are here to assist you if ever anyone needs to know more about Marriott Bonvoy program. This is a very important time also. It's for training, and digital training it's a very important component of it, and our company Marriott is very strong on that. So we have the opportunity of sending people to train, to prepare themselves for the future. And that's how we are dealing with most of our employees. And in terms of innovation, I would say that we have here an example. It's something that is becoming a mega trend, and it will continue, this kind of hybrid conference. It's happening more and more. We lost a lot of business these days, the businesses with volume, those weddings that recently we're back to those 100, 120, 150 people, but now we are back only to 20, very small. And for all other events, what we can see is that almost every day we have a meeting like this, where the technology is the main component, but it allows us to be in contact with the people in different parts of the country, different parts of the world. So we are ready for that. We have all the partners that can support in any sort of setup that is needed. We also think a lot about post-COVID. You know, post-COVID is not easy. People feel tired, weak. It takes time to recover. And nothing better than a program in a hotel like this to recover, to practice, start back practicing some exercise, sport. We have beautiful gardens. Sun is very important to recover energy. Our spa, our pool. So we are putting in place very nice packages for people that really needs, after going through that terrible challenge of being sick with COVID, to recover. And so that's one of the novelties that we are planning to put in place. We are also pushing a lot in what we call the delivery, our cuisines, our gastronomy. It's online with platforms like Jumia, like Glovo, and also directly ordering from the hotel. We manage having passes for our vehicles, and we can deliver at home. The prices are very good. They are not the same prices that you will find if. So please check on these platforms what we are offering. We are at the moment we are photo shooting a lot of new dishes to be available for people who want to continue enjoying our products. Yes, just as a note of optimism, the good news lately is about the oil and gas. We see as a big opportunity for everyone, all different sectors of the economy, and of course hospitality, to open a window for business as soon as we are out of these 42 days, and we have big hopes that we'll start having more visitors and people coming to Uganda. Lastly, I would like to thank the government for the way they are handling this pandemic. I think there was no other way, is the right way. And I really congratulate our leader, President Museveni, the way he's been doing it. And but I also, as I'm part of UHOA, Uganda Hotel Owner Association, we ask for some more support. And one of the biggest one will be to extend the exemption of VAT for 1 more year. It's expiring the coming days, but that's really a big advantage for the clients and for the hoteliers. So we hope that we'll have that good, positive response very soon. Sorry if I took more time. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Within the time. Thank you very much.
And thank you all of you again for being here and for this. It's very important events like this to push us up, bring back optimism among all of us. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Jean. That's the general manager, and most importantly, talking about supporting the economy, supporting the youth, the young, the women especially. I support you as well. Now we are going to hear from Godfrey Ivudria of the East Africa Business Digital. You're most welcome, Godfrey.
My name is Godfrey Ivudria, Managing Director of EABW Digital. We are always excited and proud to be associated with Human Capital International. We are a leading business website that provides definite coverage on trade, finance, and investment from an African perspective as it happens. Syndicated on most of the popular social platforms. This, we believe, offers our readers more value, variety, interaction, and flexibility. It is therefore possible through these platforms to reach a wider global audience in a measurable manner. Africa's young and growing population comprises of youth and women as the majority. Youth and women also constitute the most entrepreneurial segments of the sub-Saharan continent. sub-Saharan Africa. The effect of COVID-19 plague in 2020 and currently in Uganda and other African countries, majorly on SMEs, can no longer be downplayed. Therefore, it is imperative that thought leaders in this beautiful continent of Africa rise up to the challenges, debates, and offer innovative solutions to salvage SME initiatives. Our role as EABW News, therefore, is to champion information dissemination on the intercontinental market linkages, innovations, technologies, and best practices to build prosperity for future generations. We are excited about the theme, Youth, Women, and All Entrepreneurship Opportunities is here. With those few words, I just want to thank once again the Human Capital International for organizing this summit. We have been partners and sponsors of these events from about 2019, and we still continue pledging our support and assistance to Human Capital International to ensure that this dream and this vision and such dialogues shall continue being organized for the sake of promoting business and empowering and bettering the lives of livelihoods across Africa. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Godfrey. Much appreciated. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me now to invite another presentation presenter, Ori Diana Sim, Group Head of CADS, Consumer Banking of EcoBank. The topic is Women-Led Businesses and Technology Innovation Options, the Digital Way in Consumer Banking.
I'm presenting from Togo.
Togo, my country. I was in Togo 2 years ago for a whole month. You have the most delicious fish.
Yes, but I'm originally from Kenya, though enjoying the good weather in Togo at the moment. So as I was saying, interesting conversations we've had. I mean, some of the, examples that have been provided and some of the works that have been put in across Uganda and across the continent are very interesting. Just to point out, like the story of Yasin, really touched home for me, and remembering my time as a youth. I would still want to consider that when I was just transitioning from secondary to university, about the 2 years that we wait at home before we go to university. By encouragement of my mother, I then engaged in the sale of firewood and charcoal in my local village area. And I really excelled. It's surprising. It's a common business, basic and practical, as was said earlier on. Very basic and practical. It's a need. We were not the only sellers then, but we still made money and we still made profit. And that's part of the money that actually went towards paying for my university school fees when I finally joined. So I just want to encourage the youth as I get into the presentation around technology in supporting businesses that are being run by women as well as by youth today. I want us to remember the key messages that we've been given, basic and practical business ideas, and using the very little capital that you can get at that point in time. So I'll be getting into my presentation right now. Just to get in, so some of the key points to look at in the digital business platforms, and there are many today. We have many vendors. Some I've even seen on this call in the chat section, talking about the type of technology they have that can assist both young people and women in all the different sectors, whether it is agribusiness, whether it is, technical kind of skills. any form of business you want to do today, there'll be a technology platform for it. So some of the things that I just want to point out to anyone who is running an SME business out there today is to ensure you confirm the relevance and the authenticity of the technology platform to your business. So don't just pick because you've seen it on social media or because you've seen other people say that it worked for them, especially accounting tools or tax management rules or stock taking and value chain kind of technology platforms. Ensure that that technology is relevant to your own type of business so that you don't go into a lot of cost of putting up technology platforms that are very good in their own nature but are not relevant to your business at that point in time. It's also key that you need to review the security details of the platform. You will note today that most of the apps that you'll be downloading on your smart mobile phone or your devices or even on your laptops, they would ask for different types of access, like access to your contacts, access to your gallery, access to your, different types of access in your phone. You need to understand the access that is being requested by the platform and do a review of these technology platforms before you actually download them. When we talk about reviews, if you go on Google or if you go on Play Store or App Store and you check the different apps that you are trying to interact with or the ones that the vendors are asking you to purchase, at that point, you'll be able to see the reviews that people have indicated and it will guide you as to whether that app is for you or that app does not make business sense for you at that point in time. Okay. The next thing when choosing a technology platform is you need to understand what kind of support you are going to get. And this I say with a little bit of example in our markets today. So look at some of the technology platforms that sell, let's say, Bitcoin or cryptocurrency in our markets today. And most of our youth are taking their money and investing in this kind of business. Some make money, some lose money. But the point then comes in, you need to understand the support that you will get when you have a question, when you ask a question. Is that technology platform available for you to get a response? Or once you start asking questions, you're then deleted from groups or there's no further communication or your questions are not being answered. These are some of the critical things as a business person and engaging with technology. You need to understand who the vendor is or who the partner of technology is and what kind of support are they putting out for you when you need it, okay? As far as in business, we do, our main role in business is actually the sales of goods and services, and in return we receive payments. And if you've listened to all the conversations that have been provided prior to my own, there's an element of a transaction happening. So if you're doing business of any form and nature, you will be receiving payments. And in the recent past, especially around East Africa, let me just say across the sub-Saharan Africa, we've gotten many payments platforms that are being introduced to vendors, whether it is mobile money, whether it is POS, whether it is a quick response, which is a QR that you are scanning that you are providing your customers to scan for you to receive payments. And we have different vendors that are coming together, with different solutions to provide to you as business people to tell you that this is going to work. Banks and fintechs are included. What you need to ascertain is that the payment platform that you are accepting should be accessible to the consumers or to the people who are actually buying from you, okay? So that if you are selling tomatoes in the market, for example, and you then go and get a very sophisticated kind of payment platform, let's say, let's say cryptocurrency or Bitcoins for purchase of tomatoes. Not many people who come to buy your tomatoes on a day-to-day basis would have access to actually making that kind of payment. But if you are into other sophisticated business like selling softwares or selling, high-end merchandise, then maybe Bitcoins and cryptocurrencies would work for you as a form of payment. When you're working the different levels of our business, we need to totally understand who are the people buying from us, who are the people making payments to us. And we use the relevant technology to ensure that we are collecting whatever payments or whatever, whatever transaction value that we are collecting from them is coming to us in the correct way and in the easiest way of our buyer. If we don't do this, the buyer will just go to another vendor. It's as simple as that. So we need to put this neat and make it easy for the buyer to transact with us. We also need to build an ecosystem, a network, So for example, let me pick the case of mobile money in our markets. If you don't accept mobile money and your next door person is accepting mobile money, for example, the people who are coming to the market, especially right now in this COVID situation, might not want to touch cash or might not, for the fear of getting the disease through, contamination of notes and coins, and might be finding it easier to pay by mobile money or by, scanning on the QR or by paying by cards in some institutions. You need to be prepared for that. And so by building an ecosystem, if you as a merchant have set up a certain form of payment, you need to then socialize this form of payment platform to your buyers and encourage them, show them the benefits of them using it, provide discounts where it is possible, and it actually gives you more sense in the ecosystem, because you then have a closed ecosystem of customers who know how to transact with you, and they will actually working on getting to transact with you. You provide good services, you provide good products, and you've given them multiple ways to transact with you. They will ensure that they keep on coming to you as customers. And for you running an SME business or any form of business today, using technology to accept payments is actually a more secure way for you right now. We've had stories of people being muggings. Our youth, you do your business, you carry your small cash in your pocket, you get onto a boda rider. While you're going home, you are mugged, the money is lost. Okay? You are a mother, you're doing tailoring business, somebody comes and pays you for the cloth. The moment the person walks away in the evening when you're closing your shop, you have robbers who are looking to take the money away from you. But if you have this money in a digital way, if you have these payments made to you in a digital way, they would be going into a secure area or into a secure way that any person who's trying to steal from you would have to go through a lot of trouble to get it. Unlike money that is in physical format that they can drop down and somebody can pick. We've also heard of cases where women do business, or youth, you do your business, you go back home with your money that you've worked for in your pocket, and where there is domestic violence, the other partner in your life takes the money that you have worked for. There's nothing you can do about it because it's physical cash, it's gone. If you're a youth, you've come back home, people don't have food, there's issues in the house, and you're forced to take the money and use it, for home use. But if you had the money in a digital way, you would need to go through the process of accessing it, and you would not have the impulse to actually use your money, on short notice or on instances that does not make business sense for you. Next slide, please. Okay, if you can just, sorry, the previous one. If you can just make this bigger, please. So on this slide, I just want to show you, as a lot has been spoken. My former colleague David, took us through the opening of Elevate and how we can go about it. I now want to speak, to the many different people on this platform today probably who do not have a bank account for one reason or another, have never been able to open a bank account. As part of EcoBank Consumer, we've set up a digital account that you can open via your mobile phone or via USSD on a Kaviriti phone or a Katochi phone, you know. The most basic kind of phone that you have, you are able to open an account on it digitally, instantly, and it's an account that operates for you. With this type of account, you know, you are able to save from your daily earnings. You can use it as a savings account or as a daily, as a current account. You are able to track your payments, any payments that you have received, any payments that you have made out, or any expenses that you've paid out, let's say for your stock, for your workers, you know, when you've paid for your license in the market or at the city council, you are able to track all these transactions so that you are able to know whether your business is actually breaking even or not, you know. And then you can also use this account to make your day-to-day bill payments directly from your account. And I'll show you the type of channels that we've set up on this account. You're able to pay for your water in Uganda. In other markets, we have many different services, tax, you know, bill payments like power, water, depending on which market you're from. But in Uganda, you can access the platform and you'll see that you have utilities that you can pay. You have government payments that you can make out of that. You can purchase airtime. You don't need to carry cash and carry it to, you know, to a shop to purchase airtime. You can actually purchase it straight from your phone. On the account that is on your phone. You can also do mobile money transactions. Like in Uganda, you can do it to Airtel and MTN. That is moving money from your bank account to your wallet, making the ecosystem of payments, you know, a much more easy to use kind of setup for you. And then you can access, you know, this account, you can access it anywhere, any time of the day. You're not restricted by the branches closed, like right now during COVID season. You know, the branches are operating in limited time frame. But in this case, you're not restricted by that because, you know, you have your bank with you everywhere you're going. And with this account, you can actually generate your own QR. And out of that QR, you can receive payments from any Visa or MasterCard enabled customer out there. You know, they must not be EcoBank customers. They can be from any other bank. But if they've been enabled by their bank to do QR transactions, and in some instances, even mobile monies are now, you know, companies, we are working together to see how they can enable their customers to do this. So you can generate your own QR as a merchant, and I'll explain to you how you can, you know, relate to this, and you can receive your payments via QR. But the most important and the last point before I move to the next slide is around building a credit, you know, a credit profile for yourself. Some of the comments I've been seeing coming through is during this COVID season, you know, business has gone down, you have loans that you're looking to pay, you don't have enough capital, you know, you spend your money on drugs and food and everything because business is closed. But the reason why most of us do not get money from banks or from financial institutions is because when the bank tries to review your business and your credit profile, they have no evidence of what kind of earnings you receive. So they know, yes, you're a tomato seller. They know your capital is up to this much. They know on a daily basis, you know, by market trends, you're saying that you earn X amount of money. But there is no evidence showing that. But the moment you start putting your money through an account, then you have digital records that show what has come in and what has gone out. Getting a loan doesn't mean how much money you have in the account. It just needs to show how much comes in and how much goes out. And that is the history we actually use to determine how much of a loan and how much, you know, credit worthy you can be for you to be given something that can elevate your business, something that can help you increase your business, whether during this COVID period, whether it's a new business, an existing business, whether you're trying to come back up. So it's something that you need to note. The faster we can start to digitize the transactions that happen in our business, the faster it's easier for you to have a conversation and receive funds for you, you know, to grow your business. Next slide, please. The other way, I'm not all about telling you how, you know, to manage your money. I also want to tell you how you can actually make money from EcoBank. So one of the other things that we've worked on in consumer is to help you as any business person out there, to help set you up as an EcoBank agent. So our agents, we call them Express Point agents. So to help set you up as an EcoBank Express Point agent, and out of this, you get to earn anytime you distribute any of our EcoBank products, anytime, you know, you help us onboard a customer or you help us service our customer, you actually get to earn. And it's not, you don't need to start a different business. You already have a shop. You're already running a day-to-day shop. In whatever location you are in, you just need to add the EcoBank Express Point agent to your current business. All you need is a smartphone of any caliber, you know. All you need is a smartphone. We give you an app on it. You are able to then become our agent. And any value, let's say, for example, and this is a cash management tool for you as well. You know, the money that you keep on getting on a day-to-day basis, if you're servicing EcoBank customers who are coming to your agent location to withdraw cash, so you give them what you have collected in the shop, making it a secure environment for you. Meanwhile, you are receiving float directly into your bank account. So you are giving out the cash that can become insecure for you in the shop, and you are actually having transactions going into your bank account and building a credit history for you. You understand? To help you get a loan. And from your bank account, you can do transfers to, you know, to your vendors, to your suppliers. You can do transfers for purchase of goods locally, as well as of purchase of goods internationally, whether within the region, East Africa, or you're purchasing things from China, Dubai, anywhere across Africa. You'll be able to, you know, to send money directly from your account on the phone and do all the transactions that you need to. So not just telling you that you need to put your money in the bank, I'm also telling you how you can actually make money from EcoBank today by becoming an EcoBank Express Point agent. I'm sure, you know, if you need to know how to, you can put your details and comments in the chat section. Myself and my colleagues from Uganda will reach out to you and, you know, give you more details on how to go about that. Next slide, please. I also just want to touch on how cards can support the business payments. You note that my topic is around technology and technology use in the business space. And previously, some of the middle-sized businesses, you have to buy softwares. You have to pay for, let's say, if you're in an office setting, something like Netflix, Microsoft, you have to pay for office telephone bills and the likes. How have you been making these payments on a day-to-day basis? You know, so today I want to show you how you can actually generate a card, and some of the videos that will be running during the session, you will see that from your mobile phone, you are actually able to generate a Visa card. You can get a physical one from any of our branches, or you can generate a virtual one on your phone. And with this card, you are able to transact anywhere in the world with any merchant, whether you are purchasing for software, whether you are purchasing for advertising rights on sites like Facebook. You know, some of you who run businesses here know that when you want to advertise your business on Facebook, you can pay for advertising rights. So you can use your card to do this. You don't need to lose money through brokers or other people who will tell you, bring the money, let me pay for you. I have an account, let me do this for you. No, you can actually do this yourself. If you're a travel agent who books for people hotel, you know, right now the manager from Sheraton, you know, just explained that during this COVID period, if you want to go there and, you know, relax yourself, exercise, bring yourself back to speed, or order food from them. I know Sheraton do accept Visa and MasterCard transactions. You can actually generate a card order for their food, or book for a hotel. If you're a travel agent, if you're an aspiring person that is looking to provide services in Uganda today that will serve many different people, you can actually generate your card for this kind of payments. And the beauty of this virtual card or our prepaid card or our debit card, you can actually, for example, the prepaid card and the virtual card, you can load it with the exact amount that you want to use for any specific service. So you don't have the risk of, your money getting lost or, somebody hacking and taking anything. We've secured our cards completely. We provide you with, additional security every time you do a transaction. So it is the most preferred way for you to book for your flights, for you to book for your hotels, for you to pay for goods and services anywhere internationally. Because if those goods and services are not delivered to you, you have a right of chargeback. But if you do it by SWIFT or by cash money or by sending somebody with huge amounts of cash from Uganda to China to Dubai to Turkey, if that money gets lost, it's lost. But if you do it, if you put it on a card and you transact via card, you will not only have a record of the transactions you've done, you also have the security of your money in place. And for all the youth that are on this call and are listening to me, all those things that you engage in on Facebook, on LinkedIn, Instagram, you've seen all those pages there. You want to purchase things, you want to engage in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, depending on what is allowed by your regulation in Uganda. So next slide just talks about mobile app again. So this is one of the channels I was speaking about, mobile app and USSD. I will not dwell so much into that, but just to point out that we also have access via social media, WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger through our assistant called Rafiki. You can also go there, open an account, and be able to generate this QR to facilitate for you to get payments for your goods and services. Please, last slide, please. Okay, so this one I just wanted to touch. This has nothing to do with EcoBank, but just to encourage all the women and youth who are on this conference today that are running businesses, across our listener spectrum. Anytime you can actually use social media, not just, like for us, the youth, we use social media just for photos and posting for the gram and, putting out statuses and the likes, but you can actually use your social media and other influencer social medias to actually grow your business. You can create awareness for your business, take nice photos, post them, give some details about it, educate your customers, encourage your customers to give you feedback about your goods. If you are into selling fish, as we were told, take nice photos of your fish, fresh and deep fried and the likes. If you are into the business of making dresses, take photos of your dresses and post them. Ask for feedback. Let people interact with you on social media. Once you've created awareness and enough education on your product, you now get into utilizations and payments. You're now enticing your customers to actually utilize your products. You're encouraging them to take it up. And once they take it up, you're telling them exactly how to make payments. Remember, these are people that you've reached out on social media. So you need to give them digital ways for them to make payments as well. And then after that, you then get to asking for referrals, asking them, to encourage you. And you'll see, like taking testimonies and posting and agreeing with your customers if you can post their testimonies or post them in your attire, like the dresses you've made, the shoes you've sold them, the hair that you've made for them, the makeup that you've made for them, the produce that you're bringing out from your agribusiness. All this, you can actually use social media. So I just wanted to close my remarks by saying technology can be used for good. Let's not only look at the bad side of technology. I'm encouraging everyone to actively start understanding how they can use technology in making their businesses grow, and also in understanding how that technology can be used by their consumers or by the buyers who are purchasing their goods and services. Thank you so much for listening to me. If you have any questions or any points of clarification, put them in the chat section. I'll be following up and I'll be able to respond to those. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Diana. Amazing. And the end was very good. Let's put up a hand clap for Diana, all the way from my land, Togo. Allow me now invite our last presenter. I know that being a young, energetic, vibrant, and person, you can actually reduce your presentation into 10 minutes. Anne is the CEO of Gazelle Safari Company Limited, and she is going to give us a presentation on women-focused SMEs and finance options, the experience of Gazelle Safari Company Limited.
So much for having me. Like you said, my name is Anne Kalembe. I'm the founder and managing director of Gazelle Safari Company, right here. I'm very happy to be here because issues to do with women and SMEs are very, very close to my heart. So just to take you through very quickly, my motivation to get into entrepreneurship was my mother. So as a person who joined the university, I did not have anything to do during the day as an evening student. So my mother, who was a market vendor, asked me if I can join her. She thought I would refuse. I think it was a test that she was giving me. So I joined her, and for most of the day I used to be in the market until a year later, when one of my customers in the market identified me and gave me a formal job. So that is how I entered into entrepreneurship, and it sort of gave me the insight of what goes on a day-to-day. So later on, of course, I joined from employment. I was there for a long time, what I consider a long time because I thought I would be there for less. And then in the year 2011, in the last quarter, I started my first business. I started a safari company. I didn't register it anywhere. I was very naive. I made a lot of mistakes. I entered business out of emotion. It wasn't that I had the expertise, I didn't have the capital. Actually, my starting capital was money that I got through a loan shark. It didn't end well. I eventually closed, sat home for a few months, dusted myself up, and enrolled for a master's in business administration. Because I thought, okay, if I go back to school, I'll probably have time to learn how to be a good manager. So when I finished my coursework, the entrepreneurial core was still there. I now incorporated Gazelle Safari Company, and here we are. So Gazelle Safari Company basically is a safari company operating in Uganda, Rwanda, Kenya, DR Congo, South Africa, and Tanzania. So we do both in and outbound tours. So that means we bring people into East Africa and Southern Africa, and then we take Ugandans and other East Africans to other destinations around the world. Now, my motivation to stay in business, even when times are hard, is the desire, the passion, the love for what I do. So for all the years that I've been in business, I've been banking with EcoBank. So even as I was sitting over there, when Diana was making her presentation, I was paying a supplier in Dubai using my EcoBank card.
Did she lie in any way?
Well, no, she didn't. You see, there are things about life. You'll either choose to see the negatives or use the positives, okay? So for all the time that I've been with EcoBank, I've been using their digital platforms. I opened a second business. After this one grew, I opened our first hotel management firm, Gazelle Consult. It's now the leading hotel management firm. We got the award last year. and then the account is with EcoBank still. So that shows you that they did exactly what I was expecting them to do. So to the women out there who want to get into business, it is not easy, but it's doable, yes. It's not easy, but it's very possible. There is something that I've written here that I need you to hear. You have to get comfortable writing when no one is reading, creating when no one is consuming, putting in the hours when you know no one is clapping and no one is listening, or when no one is watching. That's the big secret. So whatever you do consistently is what you become. So I believe for everybody that is out there and wondering, how can I make it? Success is definitely on the other side of consistency. So whatever you want to become is possible. Failure doesn't have to define you. I will not say that I haven't failed. There's so many things I've failed at, but tomorrow is a new day for you to start afresh. So do what you have to do. Don't start tomorrow, start now. Start now. In the pandemic, when we are still in the pandemic, but in the first lockdown, when everything wasn't working, I called my team and said, hey guys, everything that we want to do is at a standstill. Nobody's traveling. So what do? We opened up a catering firm. Our first client, the Rotary Club of Rubaga, gave us 165 people to cater for. My team stepped in. People who are used to sitting behind their desks and selling travel and putting together itineraries, we were cooking and as the head chef. So
wow,
you have to do whatever it takes.
How many people are this in the team?
We are 10 who sit in the office every day, but our team becomes as big as we want because we have a lot of occasional work coming in.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. Short but extremely pregnant information. Electric.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Anything? I agree. She needs a clap.
I was taught summary writing and summary speaking. It gave me 10 minutes.
And you haven't even finished it.
Oh, wow.
You haven't finished it. And you are amazing. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
And those watching from out there, participating from out there, questions, send in the questions. And Anne is still here. Annette is here. Charles is here. All the rest of the presenters online are still with us. And amazing stories. The story of Yasin is with the one of Anne. Amazing testimonies. And we cannot get it any better. Let me start by reading the comments and questions that have come. For Charles, reference to your first slide. How ready? Don't worry, I will give them to you. I will sanitize the papers and then give them to you. For reference to your first slide, how ready is our market, especially from top of pyramid, the government and private sector? And feel free, you can sit back there, but you can also sit anywhere, don't worry. How ready is our marketplace, specifically from top of pyramid, in brackets, government to private sector, to embrace the fast-growing technological trends of doing business in today's global village? Then to EcoBank, to Annette, how do you train women and youth in a situation where some women and youth have no access to internet and smartphones. To EcoBank again, because they have said to elevate. Requirements for one to qualify, does it include startups or it's only for SMEs? Elevate, you have so many. The next one is Nigeria included in the process? Annette, feel free to share your questions if there are too many with your colleagues. Yes, they must be hearing us online. Is Nigeria included in the process? Won't you ask for collateral? And talking about virtual training, who sponsors the data implication? This is a nice one. This, Ochichi, this sounds like the government, Tuyagala government, Tuyambe. They want the training, they want skilling, but they want also the government to be the one to pay for the data. There is also a question for how best can SMEs be helped in order to realize their efforts? Ochichi, this is for you. Someone says, I've been providing BD's services to businesses, but the challenges that most SMEs face, especially those in agriculture, is market. This question continues coming back and forth. I will ask, I think I need to ask maybe the issue of opportunities for small-scale businesses. I will ask Josephine Mukumbia to respond to. And then market, I will ask David Asiedu. David Asiedu and Josephine Mukumbia online, prepare to answer those questions.
Only how ready is government to use technology in today's global village? I think this is work in progress. It will never be perfect. It will never be complete. But I can say our government is already doing it in terms of passports, URA payments, URSB registration of businesses, and also they have done something, although it is still work in progress, in terms of permits for traveling during COVID. You can get your clearance virtually. How can SMEs be supported to realize their efforts? The creation of a successful business is a game for many parties. The banks, the consumers, the government, the regulator. An SME will never be created by one party alone. But in all this game, the key player is the SME or the business owner himself to access all these numerous sources of support. Number 3, agricultural business SMEs have got challenges of market. They will always be there. But markets are also things that you can keep on learning from what happened in the previous sale. Because if you failed to sell maize last season, what did you learn? Because the same maize, after 3 months from the harvesting time, the price has doubled, but you don't have the maize. What does that teach you? It's not so much about the market, but how to spread the supply of the commodity to the market. So these are challenges that you can always address, provided you are ready to learn. The other thing that I shared, learn, and learn again. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ochichi.
Question was, how do we train women and youth in a situation where there are no phones? Maybe David didn't talk about this, but we have identified about 500 women that we're going to train across our 33 affiliates. So those women must already be in business and they must have taken a stage, and now the training is to help them improve on their business. So if you do not have a phone, it is going to be a little bit difficult, but I would like to say good things don't come easy. So you can, if you happen to be one of those women, somewhere in the village there might be somebody who has an Android. You can borrow and train. The other one was Elevate. Is it only for startups or for people in business, or even for startups? I think when David was presenting, he clearly mentioned that a business which has certain percentage of women own the business, or a business which has either husband and wife, it was all talking about the business which is. As a bank, I would also like to say, when it is a startup, it is always good to first do, I think Anne talked about it, you start and fail. When you make it, then you can start getting involved in certain things. It's also not good just to start and then you go to a bank and then you need to be helped, and it's always good to start on your own, like Anne, the experience that she has given us.
I would want to answer on two fronts. With regards to access to markets, specifically on the Elevate products, we mentioned that we had hubs or groups or social groups where we brought people in similar and also different sectors of business, where you can network and get access to markets. So for example, if you produce maize in your province, and I gave the example of you being limited to market to people within your province, and by joining the Elevate Club, you would be able to meet other people in the maize value chain. So aggregators who would probably be able to give you better pricing than you get from your local middleman. And I was also given the example that beyond Elevate, across inter-country trade, we are leveraging on the AFCFTA and putting together what we call a matchmaking portal, where we use our regional presence to track import and exports across countries in Africa, and give a heads up to our clients. So if you, for example, produce cashew nuts or tobacco, okay, and we know there's an importer who usually imports from who's probably not an EcoBank client, but has been paying for the import of tobacco through EcoBank, we will then be able to link you up to this importer, giving you greater access to markets. So these are two ways in which I think EcoBank brings value in creating access to market for you as a business.
How can young entrepreneurs in South Africa get assistance from especially EcoBank and especially Seed Capital?
We currently don't have, we have a rep office in South Africa. So we are not directly present in South Africa, but apart from South Africa, we are present in all the other Southern African countries where we have full-fledged businesses. So if you're in any of the Southern African countries, you can go to your local EcoBank, and as you may be aware, we have special programs that are targeted at businesses that are suffering from COVID. We take advantage of several government interventions that have been put in place, and also partner with international development finance institutions. I don't want to share all the details here, but we talk to some of them, and they are supporting us to regenerate our businesses even as we come out of COVID. So to specifically answer the question, if you are limited to South Africa as a country, we don't have an active, a fully fledged office there. But if you're in any of the other Southern African countries, Zimbabwe, etc., Mozambique, etc., we have full-fledged businesses there, and we're able to support you with capital.
Okay, David, the other question I want you to answer is the question that your colleague Annette missed. The question is, want you ask for collateral and talking about virtual training, who sponsors the data implications? This is a question from Nigeria. Is Nigeria included in the process?
Okay, so yes, Nigeria is 100% included, and I'm actually disappointed you don't know about it. I'll probably reach out to the responsible officer in Nigeria with regards to visibility on the Elevate program, because Nigeria is obviously the most populous African country, and we cannot succeed as a bank if we don't play in the Nigerian market. So the simple answer is yes. And with regards to the data, I'll drop my phone number anytime you need to connect. Just hit me up. I'll send you something for data.
That's a nice one. That's a nice one. Thanks a lot, David. I'm going to request Annette to take David. Thanks, but keep with us online.
Okay.
I'm going to request Annette to respond to two more questions. One, do you facilitate agriculture? Two, this person says, thank you for the insightful discussion. I have a loan with EcoBank currently. We don't have cash inflows due to the lockdown. Will the bank charge us penalty on loan not paid due to date during the lockdown?
Okay, do we facilitate agriculture? Yes, but secondary agriculture, not primary. Primary mean where you are farming, but the value chain, yes, we do.
Okay. So if someone is turning fruits, mangoes, pineapples into juice
in the market, even if you're in the market selling, that is already not secondary because you are already selling.
Yeah, adding value now.
Adding value, yes.
Good.
So value add, yes, we do for the time being. Primary agriculture, we are still thinking about how to go around it. I have a loan with EcoBank. Will the bank charge us interest? I'd like to inform borrowers that our central bank here, Uganda, gave a moratorium since lockdown last year. This year, they also have added us another 6 months. It means if you are borrowing from EcoBank and your business is one of those businesses that have been affected by COVID, feel free to apply to EcoBank and request for your loan and interest to be extended. So we do have a way we are helping our customers. We understand. And the central bank, our regulator, is in agreement with commercial banks.
Without going into too much details, is there a process that you follow, including some inquiry that this organization, this company was really suffering from the lockdown effect, and so they deserve to benefit from the moratorium?
Yes, definitely we do.
You
and
make
we
a
have
follow-up.
Actually restructured.
It's not just open.
No, it's not open.
Because my fear is, much as you have that benefit, there are some of my colleagues, brothers and sisters, who will take it for granted that even when they are doing well, they will want to benefit from being dishonest. And we need to block that kind of attempt.
No, it is not open. You have to apply for it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Annette.
We just want to say a very, very big thank you to all the attendees, all the panelists, but also importantly to thank our sponsors, our title sponsor, EcoBank. EcoBank has stood with us from 2019 up to today, and we are very excited and we're very grateful to all of them. Tomorrow is going to be another wonderful day, and we want to encourage as many participants to join us tomorrow. The program for tomorrow has been shared on all social media platforms. They will get it in their emails and all of that. So tomorrow we will try as much as possible to keep within the time so that the curfew does not catch us on the way. So that said, let me say another thank you to everybody, yourself, and especially Sheraton for hosting us. It's been an incredible host, and we are grateful to all of you. Thank you so much. I think Godfrey will give us a closing prayer as well.
Godfrey, prepare to come and give us a closing prayer. Thanks to Abby. Thanks to Sheraton Kampala. Thanks to Jim Roberts. Thanks to Rock. Thanks to Shared Value Africa Initiative. Events Warehouse, we can't thank you enough. You made this possible. Without you, we wouldn't have had the discussion. Thanks a big bunch to you. Thanks to East Africa Business Week Digital, and thanks to Human Capital International. Thanks so much to Vision Group and to VEIT and of course EcoBank Uganda. Thanks a lot to all of us, to all of you online and here at Sheraton in Kampala. Thanks across East Africa, across South Africa, across West Africa, for being a good team and audience and participating. Let's have Godfrey give us a closing prayer.
Father, we thank you for another wonderful day, another wonderful dialogue that you've given us today. We thank you for every presenter, online and offline. We thank you for every sponsor, and we thank you for Sheraton Kampala that has been a wonderful host. And we continue to thank you for Human Capital International. We pray over the night that it shall be restful, and we pray over tomorrow that it will be a blessing, that Father, that you will cause more and more people that will benefit from this program to access and be able to go through it and get all their answers for the questions that they have. We give you thanks and we give you praise. In the name of our Lord we pray. Amen.